Hi everyone, TardisGuy123 here, and today I'm going to be doing another Doctor Who review, this time of the Seeds of Doom. So it's the fourth Doctor story with Sarah Jane Smith, and it's from the Philip Hinchcliffe era. It's towards the end, the middle bit. It's in season 13. It's the last story of season 13, six-parter, and what a way for that season to go out. It's often considered the best season by quite a few people. I'm probably not one of those people. I'm not sure. I haven't really ranked my seasons that much before, but this story is nevertheless very, very strong way to end it. And a lot of people say it's one of their favourite stories. I'm not sure if I'd go that far, but it's definitely very high up on my list. Maybe top 20. I'm not so sure about top 10, but anyway, the story itself, it's split into two parts really. You got the first, well, it's split into six parts technically, but you're split into two kind of like separate combination of parts, I guess. You kind of like got episode 1 and 2, where it's all the actions basically taking place on the, what's it called? Well, I guess you could also say it's split into 3 parts, but all the actions taking place in Antarctica and whatnot, and then for the final 4 parts it moves to England, and those final 4 parts are split into 2 halves, where you kind of like got the first 2 episodes, parts 3 and 4, focusing on Harrison Chase in the mansion and whatnot, and the more human villains. And then the second 2 and the last 2, which are 5 and 6, focusing on the Krynoid itself, that main villain. So yeah, it's very interesting, I think, this story, because it's got a very big threat level in it, and often people criticise how violent Doctor is in this, but I think it shows how big the threat is, to be honest. Kind of like, we've only got a couple of days until the entire world is wiped out, and the Doctor's very serious about that. And, he's still making jokes along the way at times, but he's very much very serious. And, he's not taking anything from anyone, really. He's not taking any nonsense. And he's very much standing up to it, very aggressive at parts. But, it's similar to the third Doctor way. And while people don't really complain about the third Doctor's violence that much, because it's done in almost a cartoonish way. Maybe not a cartoonish way, that's the right way to put it, but it's done using Venetian Aikido and whatnot, which is very much kind of like martial arts. So it's much, whereas this isn't martial arts, it's full on fisticuffs and whatnot. And I think people dislike that because it doesn't really fit the fourth Doctor's nature. But here it works very well. I feel it shows the threat. And Pyramids of Mars and this story, the only 2 stories where the fourth Doctor is at that really serious, intense level. And well, that doesn't mean to say that he's just kind of like having a joke in some of the other ones, which he is in some stories. But most of them he's still pretty serious. But here and Pyramids of Mars is where he's at his most serious, and you can tell that through his performance. And you've got henchmen like Scorby, played by John Challis, I think his name is. He's a very, very good villain, and you kind of like he's a very good henchman as well, very capable. And you kind of like feel that the Doctor has to step up to fight this really incredible force that is Scorby, and Scorby actually does go through some development over the 6 episodes as well, and you get some good moments with him. And also, Elizabeth Sladen gives a great performance as Sarah. And there's a bit in part 5, I think, where the Doctor's gone, and she stands up to Scorby and kind of like says, "You're only in it for the money and whatnot and all that stuff." And says how the Doctor's a much better man. And he kind of like says, "You just remember that without me, I could still easily go back and whatnot." And but she still stands up to him, but you can tell that she's also a bit scared as well. And it's not kind of like in the new series where they stand up to these people and just kind of like like it's nothing, and it's almost unreal. But here she's standing up to him, but she's also doing it in a realistic way, because you can kind of like tell that she's got that fear behind her performance at the same time as being strong. And I think Barry Letts said that when he auditioned the character, Elizabeth Sladen was the only one who played it kind of like, who could be scared and courageous at the same time or something like that. And that's very true, and that shows at that moment when she's talking to Scorby. That works very well. And then of course you have Harrison Chase played by Tony Beckley, I think it is, and he is magnificent. He plays it very camp, but very good at the same time. You know, it's not kind of like bad camp; it's good camp, and that works so well on so many levels. You get some wonderful dialogue from him, and there's kind of like a bit where he's playing in the Green Cathedral, as he puts it, and you know he's playing very loud, and then Hargreaves, his butler, just comes up to him and just interrupts him, and he's like, "Why are you shouting, Hargreaves?" in just that very simple way, and it's very good. Unfortunately, towards the last 2 episodes, he doesn't get too much to do. He's more reduced as a villain and been replaced by the Krynoid, but nevertheless, I think he's still very effective, very good villain for the time that we do have him. And then we have his demise at the compost machine, which, you know, is quite dark, really. It's very James Bond in a sense. You know, you kind of have those gruesome deaths. And, you know, it's very dark, but it almost works in the sense of the story. And you got that wonderful bit afterwards where, you know, Sarah's and the Doctor are both kind of out of breath and in a bit of a state, and he's just like, I tried to help. I was trying to pull him out, and he was trying to pull me in, and he just gives that line so wonderfully, and he actually wanted to save him and whatnot, but he couldn't. It really shows what kind of character Harrison Chase was, I feel, so that's very good. Then you have the Krynoid itself, and you know it's nice how it does that slow transformation and whatnot. And you've also got the Axon costume reused here, and he painted green for a bit. And yet, but it's nice how it goes through all these different stages of the Krynoid until it finally gets to that big, massive stage at the end, where it finally gets destroyed. And that destruction scene is very well done on the house. It's a very wonderful model shot, very nicely done. And while the stock footage of the planes, like, you know, you can't really get any better with that, to be honest. But it's still not too good. But they couldn't really use model shots for that or anything. But nevertheless, it works for the purpose of the story. I'm not sure about the music that goes with the stock footage of the planes, but you know, but that destruction of the house scene is very well done. I really do like that scene, along with the Krynoid's destruction and whatnot. And then you got kind of like the transformation itself is it's almost difficult to watch. It's very gruesome as well. And the actor who plays Keeler, I don't know the name, but he does a very good job, kind of like shaking and whatnot. And you know his final words when he just goes, "You want me to die," to Sarah. That's very strong stuff. I feel the story has a lot of strong stuff in it. So yeah, that's really good. The middle 2 parts do drag a bit in some ways, I feel, but you know, nevertheless, it doesn't get to that point where you feel, oh gosh, can we get back to it, please? It just kind of like, it gets to the point where you feel you're at the lowest point of the story, but that lowest point is still very good. So yeah, very good there. And then going back to the character of Keeler for a minute, he has a very wonderful interplay in the first 2 episodes with the character of Scorby. And there's that bit where he's just like, where he stands up to Scorby for a second, then backs down again, and then Scorby just goes on about digging a hole in the snow big enough to say 5 bodies or whatever it is, and then he's just kind of like, he's going along with it, and then he suddenly realizes what he's saying, and his expression turns, and then Scorby just goes, well, I can just make the hole a little bigger, and then that subdues Keeler right down. So that's very good stuff there, I feel. Very wonderfully written dialogue by Robert Banks Stewart, who only wrote one other story, and that is Terror of the Zygons. So it's a bit of a shame that he didn't get to write more than that. He was going to write a third, Defoe from the Future, but had other commitments, and then Defoe from the Future, you know, a couple of ideas from it, but not the whole story, was adapted and instead written by Robert Holmes as The Talons of Win-Chang. But, you know, anyway, Robert Banks Stewart is a very good writer, and you can tell that here with all the wonderful dialogue he gives, and the wonderful story as well. And it all comes together very nicely, I feel. It gets a good final product. Unit in this, well, they don't have any of their regulars, unfortunately. They're only in it for the last 2 parts, really. You know, you feel like you could have done with a Brigadier or Benton or something, or maybe even Harry, but, you know, what you get, it's okay, I guess. This is the last proper unit story. Well, not even proper unit story, I guess. The last unit story. It doesn't really have the unit family in it. It kind of, they get faded out rather than going out on the bank. Because you've got the Brigadier who's absent from Android Invasion, so you've only got Penton and Harry in that. So the last proper unit story, I guess, was Terror of the Zygons when you had the Brigadier there. But anyway, nevertheless, I wish they could have got Colonel Faraday back though, just to give that bit of continuity. So that it's a bit odd having different people standing in for the Brigadier. But nevertheless, I think it works good enough for the sense of the story. It doesn't drag the story down. It's just a bit of a thing that could have improved the story if it were there. But anyway, I guess that's all I've really got to say on this story. It's very good. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend you do. It's an infection story with the Krynoid and whatnot, but it's got other stuff as well, like Scorby, who's a brilliant henchman and whatnot. And then you got the Doctor and Sarah at what could be their best. I'm not sure, but they are very, very strong here. So yeah, I think that's all for now. Also, this is a side note now. I'll give the rating for this story first. 9 out of 10. I was very close to giving it a 10 out of 10, but there are a couple of things that I feel could have been done better, but nevertheless, 9 out of 10, very, very good story, and a very high 9 out of 10 at that. So anyway, back to what I was saying before, a little bit of Big Finish news. You got this, for the 200th release, you got this trilogy building up to it with newer Doctors mixing with older companions. You got the 7th with Joe and Mike Yates. Then you got the 6th with Jamie and Zoe, and then the 5th with Stephen and Vicky. So it looks to be an interesting trilogy. I think kind of like mixing these old Doctors with even older companions. It's a good idea, I feel. I'm interested in where they go with it. It's kind of like, it's done during the time that they're with their previous Doctors. I'm not sure how they're going to work that in. Apparently they're just kind of like replacing those older Doctors. But still, interesting to see how that works. It looks quite good. So hopefully I'll be able to get them and review them when they come out. But anyway, thanks for watching, everyone. Looking forward to that trilogy, and if you haven't seen The Seeds of Doom, highly recommend you do. It's a great story. So thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll see you all next time. Bye, everyone.